I told you she was coming here. The first time she was here was about 4 years ago when we had the opportunity to talk to Farida. Let us go 4 years back. Take a look at this.
I have this problem. I have these limitations. But that doesn't mean that I shouldn't do what I can to overcome them. So that's how I grew up. I mean, I knew that I had this problem. Although, of course, it didn't really make much sense to me until I grew older, when I was able to understand what a brain damage is and all those things. But, right, so that's how it was. When I came to Ghana in 1988 when I was 9 years old. Before then, we were living in the Caribbean mostly. Over there, I wasn't really exposed to the society in that sense, because at that time, my friend was my sister. I mean, we used to play together and all. So when she comes home from school, I had a playmate. But while she wasn't around, it was just me and my dolls and my toys and all those things. So when we came to Ghana in 1988, my mom got a math teacher for my sister. And while he was giving her lessons, she reckoned that he can also give me some lessons. And I started doing very well. I mean, there was a period that he was actually teaching me the same thing he was teaching my sister, who was 2 years ahead of me in school. So then when I was 12, my mom said, okay, it's time for you to go to school so that you learn how to interact with other children. That was the purpose of me going to school, not to become a software engineer, just to learn
interact,
how to, and get some friends and all those.
All right, she's back with us. Put your hands together. Show some love for Farida. Welcome back, Farida.
Thank you for having me again.
It's good to have you here. Yeah. So good. Because when you first came, that was TGIF. It's still TGIF anyway, but it's not the KSM show, man.
Yeah.
Rebranded, and we had to get you back.
Back on your show, eh?
Back on my show.
Yeah.
So give us some update. It's been 4 years. What has been happening since?
It's been a very eventful 4 years, if I may say so. I've started my own company.
Oh, really?
Yeah, a software company. I started it with my former boss at the microfinance company where I was working the last time I was here. What happened was we saw a need for software for the microfinance industry, and I developed a software for them while I was working there. And we decided to open it up to the Ghana market so that other microfinance companies can benefit from it. So that is how we started the company. And yes, it's been very busy, and that is what I've mainly been up to for the past 4 years.
Wow, show some love. And of course, I forgot to mention in the interview that she's one of the foremost software developers we have in this country. And how has that journey been, getting into software and being a major key player in software development?
It's been very interesting, very, very interesting, and a lot of hard work too. Because what you find is that most people do not want to patronize locally made software because of bad previous experiences. So we have had an uphill battle trying to convince people that we are here to stay. We are not just going to take their money and run away and not deliver the product. But God being so good, we've been able to sign on over 160 microfinance companies onto our platform.
Wow, 160?
Yeah, over 160 onto our G2B microfinance banking platform. Yeah. So that is very impressive, if I may say so myself, because we've done this in less than 3 years.
Wow.
Yeah.
That is very impressive.
Yeah.
Now, for those of us like me who really don't know too much about software development. Yeah. When you have a software developed for the finance sector, what does that, for example, what does it do? What are some of
Well, this is for the microfinance
microfinance? Okay.
industry. So it runs their banking application for them. So and it's a clouded software. So that means they don't have to invest in expensive server infrastructure because we host and manage it for them.
Okay.
So they just sign on. And these days with the doom saw and all the electricity challenges that we are having, it's very good because then they don't have to have standby generators or anything because we host it outside Ghana.
Oh.
Although everything is developed here for because of some of these electricity challenges and others, that we decided to host outside Ghana, so that at least we know that we have stable power supply. Not that when a market woman goes to a microfinance company and she wants her money, then they'll tell her
there's no
electricity, so I cannot withdraw your money for you. Our vision is that we believe that the market women, the higher years, all those informal sector people, they deserve the same banking services as you and I do. So let's empower their bankers, because the microfinance companies are their bankers. So let's empower them, give them good systems so that they'll be able to do the right thing and serve their customers better. And thereby improve the country. Yeah.
Fantastic. How much of it was an uphill task? Here you are, you're coming up with software for microfinance, you know. Who was your first client? How did you build your client base? Because, like you said, it's very difficult to trust Ghanaian because, you know.
Yeah, the first client is actually the microfinance company that I was working with. So we used them as a case study.
Okay.
So we use, and because we were working in the environment as well, it made it easier for us to anticipate what the needs are. Because one problem that most software companies have is that they are not users of their own systems. So they tend to envisage what the problem is. Then they have their own solution to the perceived problem. But when you are working in the industry itself, then it gives you an added advantage because you understand what the real problem is. Yeah. So then after that, we were very blessed because we signed an agreement with the Association of Microfinance Companies to be their preferred platform. So when you're a microfinance company and you're looking for a software, you go there, they recommend us. So that is how we managed to get those numbers. And we've also had a lot of referrals from satisfied customers. Because at the end of the day, even if the association recommends you and you're not satisfying your customer, there's no guarantee that they will stay on and even recommend you to other people. So it's all a matter of doing your job and doing your work. Yeah.
The word of mouth must be positive, you know. So once you have positive word of mouth, then that's great. Fantastic. And recently you did TED Talks, and I read about it online, and you touched on some very key things that I was happy, you know. Basically, what I read was that you were saying, "Hey, Africa, wake up, man! Stop sitting on your backside and complaining." Get up and... To
put it politely. To put it politely. Yeah, I believe that there's so much that you and I can do as individuals to help our country, to help our continent. And it is okay, don't get me wrong, if things are not going the way you want it to go, sure, go on social media, complain. But beyond that, do something. That is all I was saying. Do something. Brighten the little corner where you are and hope that it will replicate across the nation and across the continent. But don't just sit down, complain, and nothing will get done. Because that was the main... the main message that I was preaching. Because what I realized is that we can be innovative when we want to, I always use this guy as an example, Kwabna Dansu, who's doing the bamboo
bikes, yeah.
bicycles. I mean, it never even occurred to me to look at bamboo and think you can make bicycles out of it. And I also cited this example when I was when I was a year old and I had been diagnosed with cerebral palsy, and my mom had taken me back to Nigeria because that is where we were living at the time. And they told her about this orthopedic herbalist. I won't call him a traditional doctor because he was a herbalist in Port Harcourt. So she took me there. And when she took me there, he put me in some wooden box to help me stand up. 2 years later, when I went to Miami, they put me in a similar frame. And my mom was like, what is the difference between this and that one there? Of course, this one was far more sophisticated. It had the straps and all that stuff. And that one was crude. But at the end of the day, it served the same purpose. Who's to say that somebody didn't go from America to Port Harcourt and see it, and copy his idea, and now is building standing firms all over the world. But because we don't have documented evidence of some of these things, that is why we get cheated out about patent rights and all that stuff. But the message that I was trying to get across was that if somebody sitting in Port Harcourt in 1980 can do this, without access to the internet, without access to other technologies and all that stuff, what can't we do in this modern day? And we have no excuse.
So I see where you're coming from, that there's too much emphasis on what we can do or what we won't do.
Yes.
Because I see we are waiting for something or somebody else
to do.
Yeah.
It's as if we are waiting for manna from heaven. But those days are gone. I mean, those days are far gone. I mean, we have been equipped with brains. Let's start using them to try and transform our economy. That was the core of my message. I mean, there's so much we can do. And I mean, I actually put at the TEDx talk, I put a picture of a hot dog vendor in New York and a water seller on the street. What is the difference? It's the same fast food. So, I mean, our grandmothers, our mothers, and our great-grandmothers have been innovating, have been doing these things for years. We don't appreciate it. We always look outside and think that what is outside is better than what is inside. But my theory is that we are the only ones who understand our culture, our social, and our economic situation. So we are the only ones who can really change our ways and change our economy and transform our country. Because at the end of the day, I always say that when there's it's so funny, but when there's an issue in Africa, they go and you're watching the BBC or CNN, they're going to get some white guy to come and talk about Africa.
Explain, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
The so-called experts. The expert on Somalia, the expert on the economy situation in Africa. Have you ever seen a Ghanaian being called to explain anything about the situation in Australia? Why? I mean, so obviously, we have to prove ourselves. We have to prove ourselves and make sure that we are on top of our game. I remember when the Garissa shooting happened, God rest their souls, there was this question on Twitter. Somebody was complaining that the international media didn't give them mass coverage as they did to the terrorist attack in Paris. Yes. My question was that, I mean, why should we wait for the international media to give them mass coverage? Why can't we give them as much coverage as we want? We have the capabilities, we have the skills. We have TV stations and radio stations all over the country, all over the continent. Why must we always wait for them to validate us?
Yeah. Show some love, man. And it gets frustrating sometimes, because like you said, when I don't know how many hundreds were killed in Kenya, it was like, it was no news practically.
Yeah.
And we say, but CNN is not covering it.
Exactly.
What are we doing?
What are we doing? What are we doing? Yeah.
Wow. So why do you think it's like that? You know, what caused this? I mean, we'll go into history and some will say, oh, because we were colonized, because we were what, but why do you think we don't?
I think right now it's about time we give the colonization excuse of us. We are colonized.
Yeah.
We have been independent
For a long time.
For 58 years.
58 years.
For 58 years. I mean, that is more than somebody's lifetime. I mean, so I think it's about time
we move on.
Yeah, we should move on. I mean, let's not use that as an excuse. So let's take responsibility for our own actions, for our own mistakes, and realize that we are where we are because of who we are, and change our thinking.
Show some love, man. And that seems to be the key, you know. Like a friend of mine said that, well, you can blame somebody if they knock you down, but when you refuse to get up, you have yourself to blame.
Exactly. I always use Singapore as an example. I mean, we got independence at the same time. What excuse do we have in Ghana?
Now, let's switch a little bit into the personal.
Okay.
We know the passionate Farida trying to fight social causes, get Ghanaians to change their attitude and all, but the personal, how do you chill? How do you relax? How do you take?
Honestly, for the past 2 years, I really haven't had
chill time.
I had much downtime. But yeah, I hang out with my friends, and yeah. I'm also a disability rights advocate, so that is the other side of me. I'm a member of Share Care Ghana, and we advocate for the rights of persons with autoimmune neurological conditions. So that is the other side of me, apart from the business and aspect, yeah. So.
What about the very, very social? It's like Farida dating and.
I plead the fifth.
You plead the fifth?
I plead the fifth.
I'm very interested to find out that personal aspect of.
You get to know in due time.
I'll get to know in due time. So it's there, but you won't talk about it, or it's not there.
I won't talk about it now.
Once you promise that when you decide to talk about it, you have to be right here on this couch to talk about it.
No trouble. Hopefully the next time you come here, I'll be willing to talk about it.
Really?
Yeah.
I'm calling you next week.
No, that is true.
Oh, but you're so inspirational, you know, because I remember when you came with your mom 4 years ago, that story, trust me, Farida, of all the programs I've done to date, and I've been on that 13 years.
Wow.
Yeah. And of all the programs I've done, none has received such reaction. People were inspired, extremely inspired, you know.
Up to now, I still get people who tell me they watch me on your show for
Oh, really?
4 years ago. Yeah. And I got interviewed on CNN last year, CNN African Voices. That also brought me a whole lot of messages from all over the world.
Wow.
And I was like, wow. I didn't realize that just by living your life, you can inspire so many people. And that is why I feel so blessed, because as far as I'm concerned, I haven't done anything so wonderful. I'm just living my life the way.
Yeah, just mind your own business.
Yeah, and
we are celebrating you.
Exactly.
But here's the thing, you know, you're a member of the board of, well, not the member of the board, but the fighting disability, and you know how it's so difficult to make it, you know, and for somebody like you with a neurological condition as well, it's even worse. But look at you are like a top software developer, and so we are sorry if we are celebrating, but we can't help it. Show some love, man.
Yeah, but I mean, when you celebrate me and you come and tell me that I have inspired you, I ask you that, I started asking people that what are they also doing to inspire others? Because you cannot just come to me and draw inspiration for me.
And not inspire anybody.
Then go and sit down with it and not inspire anybody. So you should also
Inspire
people so that it is spread around the country.
But trust me, I'm very, very sure your inspiration has inspired many people who are also inspiring you.
I hope so.
Trust me, I know so. I know so. Yeah. Oh, well, thank you so much for joining us again.
Thank you for having me again.
Oh, my pleasure. We wanted to catch up with Farida. Well, keep it up. And whether you like it or not, you have inspired me.
Thank you.
Show some love, man. Show some love, and thank you so much. And we'll catch up with you again. And that time, I can ask you everything. And you tell me everything.
I hope so. I hope so. It depends on when next you're going to catch up with me.
Okay. I'll make sure that I can catch up with you before I catch up with you. Show some love, man. Farida Bedwei. Let's stick around, folks. We'll be right back.